Well, after a dark, dreary Saturday in Cincinnati, the skies have cleared for baseball tonight. It's game 2 of this 3-game weekend series, interleague series between the Cincinnati Reds and the Kansas City Royals. And Jonny Gomes and company trying to get the Reds back on track after a 1-run loss last night. Tonight, of course, Scott Rowland, bobblehead night. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brentley. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. It's been kind of like this for Jonny Gomes. I mean, you start off the season so-so in April, was unbelievable in May, and now back-to-back rough starts here in June.
Well, you look at what Johnny did in the month of May, and everybody's saying, boy, this is about as good as it gets. But for Jonny Gomes right now, he has had a very, very difficult time getting things back to throwing the ball the way that he did when he was going well. A lot of it is elevating the baseball up in the strike zone. A lot of it is the ball being, with the breaking ball being in the middle of the strike zone, and it just wasn't the same Cueto with the same big velocity, the same drive that we saw him with back in the month of May. For Cueto right now, he's just got to get back to doing things the right way, which is the Jonny Cueto way that we saw when he was really driving the ball to home plate with the legs. Very similar, Tom, to what we saw in his first start in the big leagues.
That was against, of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Who could forget that now 3 years ago. Reds offensively, lots of hits. Came up short, getting some big hits, though, last night. We'll talk more about that in a moment.
Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Our telecast of Reds baseball tonight and every night on Fox Sports Ohio, presented in high-definition television, courtesy of H.H. Gregg. Weather very much an issue in the greater Cincinnati area today and tonight. And let's check in with Jeff Creighton to find out what's around the corner.
Well, certainly not the best night for baseball at Great American Ballpark. That first pitch, 84 degrees, the 7th inning, 72. By the time we get to that final out, we're talking about 81 degrees, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Play ball.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you very much. Cowboy, the Reds missed a pile of chances last night.
It's probably a good thing. Not that they did miss the chances, but the fact that we always expect them to not do this, to go out and get those hits, and it just didn't happen last night.
We caught up with Jonny Gomes and asked him about the approach in such situations. He's been mighty good in them.
There's definitely a different approach, and I mean, you look at like what the pitcher's doing, and when he's pitching, way different with runner in scoring position than not, runner in scoring position. So it's actually totally different at bat, and it's a different approach for most. I know it is for me, and where I've had success, just trying to, put the first strike and play, hard, and that's where I'm having success right now. So just got to keep that going.
Well, Jonny Gomes and company hoping to bounce back and get a win here tonight in game 2 of this 3-game interleague weekend series with the Royals in town. First pitch is right around the corner. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks, 33 straight years. By Just For Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili, it's Skyline time when you get that craving for a Skyline 3-way or cheese conies. Get a look downriver, right above Columbia Parkway, and looking into downtown Cincinnati. On Scott Rowland bobblehead night tonight, our Remke Big starting lineup for Ned Yost and the Royals. Scott Pasetnik in left, Jason Kendall catching, David DeJesus in center. Billy Butler, the cleanup hitter at first. Jose Guillen in right with Alberto Callaspo at third. A new second baseman today. Last night it was Chris Getz. Unieski Betancourt, the shortstop. And Brian Bannister, a right-hander, is on the mound. And starting it for the Reds is Jonny Gomes.
Jonny Gomes has got to get back to the aggressiveness and the leg drive and having that balance in his mechanics that he had that got him those 4 wins with no losses in the month of May. He got away from that a little bit, falling off to the first base side. That's one thing that we'll need to watch tonight. If he's falling over there towards Joey Votto and the rest of the team that's over there in the dugout on the first base side, that will not be a good thing.
Posednik to lead it off, a .284 batter, couple of home runs and 21 batted in. First pitch fastball is high, ball one, and this game is underway. Posednik 1 of 5 last night, knocked in a run with a single in the 5th inning. And it's in there to even account at 1-1 to Scott Posednik. We know he can really run. We talked about it last night. Cowboy gave you the strategy of how to get Posednik out. Posednik 18 stolen bases already this season. 2-1 to the left-handed batting left fielder.
Posednik is not going to pull the baseball unless it is something off speed in the middle of the plate. Other than that, you can jam the fool out of it.
Popped up into left field. That's the Sun Field with this ballpark. One of only a handful of baseball which faces to the southeast geographically. We've talked about that a number of times. And there is one away in the inning. In most ballparks, the Sun Field is in right field. The Reds defensively presented by Ford, the same group we saw last night with the exception of the catcher's position, where Ramon Hernandez gets a start tonight. Corky Miller got the nod last night. In there, strike one of the catcher, Jason Kendall. .275 batter without a home run, has 18 batted in. 0 for 5 in the game last night, but he legged out what should have been a double play to end the 5th inning. And by legging it out, it drove in a run. And of course, when you get beat by a run, you look back on every little play that occurred during the game. We talked about it when it happened. In the air, right field playable for Jay Bruce. 2 gone.
Well, I can already see a difference in Cueto right now from a mechanics and balance perspective. When he turns and brings that left knee up and gets in the balance phase right before he drives to home plate, he is sound, he's balanced, he's got his chest over the ball of his foot, his drive foot, and he's getting the ball to the home plate with some good velocity. That last pitch was 95 miles an hour.
Now David DeJesus. Fastball, 94, knee high, outside edge.
That delivery there is the perfect Jonny Cueto. You can do that more times than not. Money in the bank. Watch Cueto here. He gets straight up and down. That is the key. You can see how the balance is there. He drives home. And as he releases the ball, it's on a downhill plane, and you don't see him spinning off to that side.
Came back with a breaking ball in there, a strike. It's 1-2 on DeJesus. Reds lost a game in the standings last night, so the interplay tonight a half game better than St. Louis. The Cardinals handed the Arizona Diamondbacks a 5-2 loss in the opener of that weekend series last night. It's the only series where 2 National League teams are playing one another.
Watch Cueto as he just starts, and this is the same pitch we saw earlier. This is a fastball away. He brings the knee up. This is where his balance place is here. You can see a little bit of the rock back in the backside. Watch where this pitch is. Don't even have to hardly move the mitt.
It is extremely humid tonight, yet Cueto's wearing long sleeves underneath his uniform.
You know, the thing about it, Tom, is I did the same thing. You get used to pitching with something over your arm. And when you do that, you do it all the time. It doesn't matter what stadium that you're playing in or how you do it. At Candlestick, when I was coming up with the Giants, it was cold all the time. So I got used to pitching with sleeves, pitched with them for a long time, and then things changed once I got out of that ballpark. It's very similar to a reliever in this day and age. A reliever comes out of the bullpen instead of going into the windup with nobody on, they all pitch out of the stretch. The reason is to simplify things and to try to repeat the same mechanics over and over again. We can say it 1,000 times, but this is a game of repetition. That's what makes you good.
Pulled foul in the 8th pitch of the at-bat with De Jesus. It still remains 3-2. Told you last night coming into the game, De Jesus the hottest hitter right now anyway in the Kansas City lineup. But was handed an 0 for 4 with a walk and 2 strikeouts in the opener here last night. And there's a 2-out walk. So 1 on, 2 away, and here comes the first baseman and cleanup hitter, Billy Butler. Butler checks in at .319, 5 home runs, 31 runs batted in.
You can almost see the difference in Cueto and almost know where the pitches are going before he ever releases the ball. If that front shoulder opens and he starts to fall off to the first base side before delivery, it's going to be a bad pitch. And it doesn't matter whether it's a fastball, breaking ball, or changeup. When he finishes, if he's facing Votto, not good.
We'll keep an eye on that throughout the entire night. Swing and a miss. He was facing Votto there. Butler chased a pitch out of the strike zone.
Hanging breaking ball. So he doesn't throw too many of those. Not good.
You're looking mighty dapper tonight, Cowboy.
Well, I went into the closet and.
I mean, you have even the monogram on the sleeves. Very impressive. I mean, that's a big league shirt.
Oh, I did that.
There's a high pop up. Who wants it? Stubbs calls off Phillips, and the inning is over.
He covers some ground.
Cueto looks good, and you're looking good. Reds are coming up. Up for manager Dusty Baker, 35 wins against 27 losses. Orlando Cabrera at short, Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first, Scott Rowland at third. Batting cleanup, Jonny Gomes out in left, Jay Bruce in right. The latter third of Drew Stubbs, Ramon Hernandez, and Johnny Cueto. Against Brian Bannister, grew up, of course, in Scottsdale, Arizona. His father, Floyd Bannister, a major league pitcher for a number of years.
And a good one at that.
Indeed. And Brian, originally a New York Met farmhand, high draft choice out of USC. In the air, fly ball left field. Dropping the shades, Pacetic. 1 away. Bannister comes in right now as their hottest pitcher in the rotation. See a 5-0 record. His last 5 starts, an ERA barely over 3.5. And outstanding control for Brian Bannister.
He's got that 5-game winning streak. And even in those ball games, even though he's pitched very well in those games, 4 out of the 5 ball games, he's given up at least 1 home run.
Brandon Phillips riding the tide of a 14-game hitting streak. Looks at a strike on the outside corner.
When you look at this ball game, Tom, and you look at how the Reds hitters swing the bat and the guy that's on the mound, and you think to yourself, okay, this is a fly ball pitcher facing a club with some power.
Holden Moses deep into the night, left field, hitting streak 15 and a 1-0 Reds lead.
I didn't get to talk about. They were thinking they were going to hit a bunch of home runs today. Well, not only does it look like it on paper, they've already started. Supposed to be away. We talked about it in yesterday's ball game. Brandon Phillips likes to hit the ball to the right side, right center field. But you give him a fastball down and in, That's a home run pitch. Bam.
One-0 pitch to Joey Votto's low. 2 balls and no strikes for Brandon. Now 8 home runs, 23 runs batted in, as the batting average up above the 300 mark thanks to this 14 and now 15 game hitting streak. He is just playing so well and swinging the bat even better than so well.
That's the 12th home run that Bannister has given up this year. This is his 13th start. Only 2 games that he started in now that he hadn't given up a home run.
A check swing, they appeal, and Mike DeMuro, the third base umpire, says 3-1 to Votto. Tim Wilkie calls the balls and strikes tonight. His brother Billy umpired second, and Jim Reynolds is at first base. And that's ball 4 to Joey Votto. Kansas City on defense. Same outfield as last night. Mike Aviles takes over at second base tonight. Chris Getz was there last night. And a battery of Bannister and Kendall.
The infield defense for this ball club, I think, is a little bit suspect. I'm talking about the Royals, of course.
Scott Rowland bobblehead night tonight. Looking good.
He was looking good last night.
He's been looking good every night.
Anywhere else in the ballpark that ball goes, it's a game-winning hit, and it's a line drive to the left fielder.
Rowland just having a renaissance season indeed, healthy again. I mean, look at these numbers. Only the Texas Rangers, along with the Reds, the 2 teams with 4 players hitting 300 or better in their starting lineup going into play tonight.
Well, that's all-star row right there. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every one of them could make the all-star team.
Every one of them might. I know at last check at all of those positions, Chase Utley was leading at second base in the voting. First base, obviously, Albert Pujols. Ryan Braun, along with Jason Hayward, the rookie from the Atlanta Braves, and Andre Ethier of the Dodgers, were the 3 leading vote getters among all the outfielders. And why am I drawing a blank at third base? I just saw it a few minutes ago. Placido Polanco of the Philadelphia Phillies.
And his numbers are very good.
Not Rowland good.
No, he doesn't have the power numbers, but as far as batting average and scoring runs, he's done an awfully good job.
Runner goes, pitch taken, throw to second base, and easily stealing second is Joey Votto. His 7th stolen base in 11 attempts, and it's 3-2 to Rowland.
Bannister with a long leg kick, even though he tries to give some sort of a slide step to home plate. It almost looks as though he's slower trying to slide step than he would be if he just picked it up and just came onto the plate.
Base hit left field. They're going to hold the runner at third base. So Scott Rowland, 4 hits last night. A base hit his first time up tonight. He is rolling.
Watch how this ball, how hard it is hit into left field. And this is for a guy in Scott Podsednik that cannot throw a lick. I mean, he can barely get the ball back into the infield with a good running speed and a good crow hop coming home. Watch where the ball is. I mean, the ball bounces before it gets to the cutoff man. The problem with it is Rowland hit the ball so hard, there's no place for Votto to go.
Well, now you have Jonny Gomes, the second best hitter in the National League with runners in scoring position this season. Only Ryan Ludwig of St. Louis has been better than Johnny. Reds already in front 1-0. And of course, Cowboy, you caught up with Jonny Gomes to talk about hitting with runners in scoring position earlier today.
And it wasn't a deep conversation, more of just passing by. And I looked at him and I said, you can't do it every single time. Surely you know that, right? And he goes, but that doesn't mean I don't want to.
Oh, yeah. To left center field, Johnny, 3-run Nick fly.
With Jonny Gomes at the plate and locked in the way that he is right now, if you hang any type of slider that's elevated in the strike zone, he's going to elevate it all right off of his bat, and it's going to head somewhere towards his face on the scoreboard. Watch where this baby goes. Wow. Ooh-wee. Ooh, that's good. That's not tough now. That went over the Kroger signs in the upper deck. Goodness gracious.
So now the race is on between Rowland and Gomes for the team lead in runs batted in. Each of them now with 44 RBIs. And we're a little less than a month, but not a lot less than a month away from the All-Star game.
Right, mercy. We're talking about getting to 100 in a hurry.
Golly day, you just got to pray for good health, Cowboy. There it is.
Somebody down there getting some popcorn almost got hit in the nugget because that ball was headed for the tunnel before that fan grabbed it.
Bouncer back to the mound. Bannister will throw out Jay Bruce here, 2 away in the inning. 4 straight reach after Cabrera was retired by Bannister to begin the inning. Home run by Phillips, walk to Votto, single by Rowland, 3-run bomb from Jonny Gomes.
And normally Bannister gives up the home runs, but they're single shots. They're not home runs that have hurt him. A 3-run shot and a single shot, you put those together, that ain't nothing nice.
Run that by me again. I think I need a subtitle for that.
A 3-run home run and a single shot, that ain't nothing nice. Let me slow that down for you.
What do you do?
That ain't nothing nice for you scoring at home.
Yes. Breaking ball up and in, 2-1 to Drew Stowe.
You know, if you turn
for the first time all year, you drop off. Whoo, that's good. That's hot. That's nice.
Well, that was a long far one. That's the furthest one I've seen come off his bat.
Pop up. Give me one more going to break, because we're going to replay the home run here. Caught in right field. Well, hold on to Phillips. We're going to show Phillips and then going to break. Give it to us one more time on the Johnny swing, will you? Storylines brought to you by Elk & Elk. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. You're walking that fine line, Cowboy. All the thrilling wins. The most in all of baseball, winning in their final at bat. But the third most times losing in the opposition's final at bat.
Well, it's one thing early in the season to live and die with the High Wire Act. As you get past the All-Star break and you start to get into August and September, there's no padding below the High Wire Act. It'll drop you right on the concrete. And you don't want that, because it'll knock you right out of the race.
So Johnny Cueto, like Bronson Arroyo last night, given a 4-0 lead. In fact, the Reds held that 4-0 lead up until the 5th inning last night. Kansas City got 3 runs to draw within 1 in the 5th. A 2-run home run from Betancourt to take the lead in the 6th before the Reds tied at the 8th. And then, of course, Kansas City won it on a Betancourt single in the 11th. Betancourt knocking in 4 runs in the Kansas City win. 0-2 to Jose Guillen, a one-time Red. That's good hitting right there. Just served into right field, a 0-2 pitch and a single.
Well, this with his backside heading that back towards the dugout and just flipping the ball out there. Awfully fooled on that pitch. Watch where this side goes. Back that way, and then the bat, he catches it right out here. Just enough to get it over Phillips' head.
Swing and a miss by Alberto Callaspo, the third baseman. A .275 batter, 7 home runs, 33 knocked in. Callaspo had 1 hit, scored a run here last night. Coming up here shortly, we're going to be joined, we believe, by Cincinnati Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis. Of course, the Bengals sweeping their way inside the AFC North Division last year, en route to a divisional championship and a berth in the playoffs. And they're hoping for a lot better than that for this upcoming year. Not only Scott Rowland bobblehead night tonight, it's also Bengals night at the ballpark. Marvin Lewis here, his defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, a couple of the players. There's strike 3 called on the outside corner. First strikeout tonight for Jonny Cueto.
Those are awfully good pitches by Cueto. Those are backdoor breaking balls. They start off the plate. Those pitches are starting out here and then getting right back to the corner. The hitter sees it as a ball all the way in, and then the ball just comes right back to the outside corner. And it's tough on the umpire, too, because that ball just starts to go down, and you think it's going to cut back, and it just stays right there.
Mike Aviles getting his first start in this series, takes a strike. One and one to count. And it's hit down the right field line and foul.
He's got a little different type of stroke. He holds the bat up very high, and instead of loading the bat back towards the back shoulder as the ball comes towards home plate, he almost drops the bat towards his chest. Look at him make that circle up top. Really never gets the bat back in hitter's position.
Aviles only played 36 games all of last year before undergoing Tommy John surgery on his right elbow on July the 8th. Began this year in the minor leagues, was brought up on May the 3rd. And that ball hammered down the left field line on a 2-2 pitch. It'll go to the wall. On his way to third, stopping there is Guillen. And the Royals with runners at second and third and 1 out.
This ball just stays up and in, and really for Aviles, that's the one pitch that's really probably the only pitch that he can handle, is something that's on the middle part of the plate and in. Anything that's breaking down and away or that's hard and away, he's going to have a tough time getting to. He's got so much motion up in the top of his stance, and then with the bat swinging it around in a circle. That's I don't think they'll go back there again.
Now the number 8 hitter, Yuniesky Betancourt, having a good year. 287 hitter, 5 home runs, 27 runs driven in. Told you last night, had a big time of it. 3 hits, a double, a home run, knocked in 4, scored twice.
But if you're a pitcher against the Royals, there's a reason that Yuniesky Betancourt as a shortstop is hitting 8th. And you need to figure out what that is. It's because he doesn't hit breaking balls well. And if that's the case, then You need to use that fastball up under his hands and then feed him a steady diet of breaking balls.
Well, there's a breaking ball. It's tipped by Cueto right to the second baseman Phillips. Guillen scores from third to make it a 4-1 ball game. Avila's on to third base. There are 2 out in the inning.
Well, that was an awfully ugly swing right there, and only by an inch did Cueto not able to catch that ball and freeze that runner from scoring from third base.
Well, now's a hitter that Cueto clearly needs to take care of, and that would be the opposing pitcher, Brian Bannister. Reds 4 in the first. The Royals a run here in the second, and they're strike 1.
It's amazing when you see a play like that, Tom, it just barely off the glove of Cueto, but yet it cost him a run. If he's able to catch that, and then he's got Bannister here with runners at second and third. Drop the hammer.
And you saw that batting average during interleague play for Bannister, just short of 300. Big swing and a miss there. Seven hits in 24 career at bats with 3 batted in for Brian Bannister.
And that's why you just don't throw the ball in the same spot. Just move the ball in and out.
And that one shot into right center field. It'll go to the wall. So Cueto again having problems now for a 3rd straight outing. A 4-2 game.
And the thing about it is that's not a bad location of that fastball. It's just a bad pitch to throw. You just threw a fastball by him up and in, and then you leave a fastball out over the plate that he can slap the other way. For a pitcher, that's about the only pitch that you can hit, is a fastball that's out over the plate. With 2 strikes, you throw him a breaking ball. You don't throw him another heater.
Well, he showed you the numbers for Cueto during the month of May. He was just spectacular. But so far here in June, on June the 1st, he started in St. Louis. And they can call it a blown save. They can call it whatever they want to call it. I don't know too many guys that deserve getting a win by going 5 innings, allowing 10 hits at 8 earned runs. And then his last start against the Giants, again a blown save. He battled a little harder that night. He gave up 4 runs and 10 hits in 6 innings. A game the Reds lost 6-5, lost that one late. 2-1 on Pasenik.
Well, Jonny Cueto is the only one that can correct the mechanical deficiencies that he's got to correct in order to throw the ball the way that he did in May. We see a pitcher in May that was right on the money, and we're seeing a pitcher right now falling way off to the first base side. He's having to stop himself, or he's going to go over there in the grass. Once you've proven that you can make the adjustment, there's no reason that you can say that you can't do it again. It's just a lack of concentration.
And Brian Price says hang on a minute after that walk to Pasenik.
Cueto doesn't stay on the back. If he doesn't stay on the back leg long enough, what ends up happening is his front foot hits short. When the front foot hits short, he throws across his body. The left leg is almost 6 inches towards third base instead of towards home plate. So you're throwing across your body. You let the ball go. The ball goes up and away to a left-hander or up and into a right-hander. And because your foot is towards third base, your whole body falls off towards the first base side. You get on the back leg and you drive it towards home plate. then your foot hits on time and everything's right on the money.
Ball one to Jason Kendall. Seventh man to bat in what has been a 2-run Royal second inning. And it's a 4-2 Reds lead. Brian Bannister, the pitcher, out at second. Over at first, it's Pasetnik, and it's 2-0.
And I mean, how many times does Hernandez have to take both hands, put them by his side, and make the motion of come to me, come to me? He's saying you're falling off to the side, drive the ball to home.
Three and 0. And the bases are loaded.
Can't make an adjustment. Two outs, and he gives up a hit and an RBI to the pitcher, and he gets all bent out of shape instead of making an adjustment to his mechanics. Getting mad in this game is not going to help you, and it just makes you worse.
Cueto summons Ramon Hernandez out to the mound for a visit before they turn their attention to David DeJesus with the bases loaded. Ball one.
And you can really tell, Tom, the difference in the velocities on the fastballs when he's cutting them off. Earlier in the first inning, he's throwing the ball 95, 96. Now he's throwing the ball 91, 92. That last pitch was 93. Just cutting the ball off.
1-1 to David DeJesus, and there's a strike on the outside corner. Cueto, for the first time in quite a while, ahead of a batter at the plate.
I'm not a big proponent of the driving with your back leg towards home plate. I'm more a different type of philosophy, but for Cueto, that's what he needs to do. I mean, look how far he falls off to the first base side there. Lucky that ball didn't hit halfway up the backstop.
Third pitch of this second inning for Cueto is ball 3. Well, nowhere to put DeJesus, needless to say. There was one on with 2 out and 1 in. The pitcher Bannister, an RBI double. Walks to Pasetnik and Kendall. 3-2 on the way. And it's hit hard into deep left field and will sail over the head of Jonny Gomes. 3 runs are going to score. And after a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning, Cueto has given up 5 here in the second inning. What in the world has happened to Jonny Cueto? That is now 17 runs that he has surrendered. 17 runs in the last 12 innings he has pitched.
Well, I know for a fact that both Ramon Hernandez has talked to him about it, along with some of the other guys, about not falling off to the first base side and driving the ball homeward. They've worked on it in the bullpen with Brian Price. But ultimately, Tom, it just comes down to the pitcher with the baseball doing what he's supposed to do. If you don't get it worked out, this is the kind of games you're going to have.
That one line to Jay Bruce, and mercifully will end the second inning. A 5-run Royals second to take a 1-run lead.
Mitigating factors. Number one is that we got off to a slow start out of the starting rotation, and that put a lot of pressure on the bullpen to be more active than you would want early in the year. Secondly, we've hit kind of a spot where we struggled to find the best way to utilize them. We had at one point in time we had Mike Lincoln and Carlos Fisher, and we made some decisions there, definitely in the health reasons with Mike Lincoln, to make sure that he gets his shoulder straightened out, and that Carlos went back to AAA and kind of put a little bit of polish on his game. And then we bring in an Ario Del Rosario and bring back Logan Ondrusek, and it's trying to find how to utilize your young people and slot them in ways where they can be effective and they can be the most helpful to our team. That's been probably the biggest challenge up to this point.
It's our Geico Direct quote from pitching coach Brian Price. The Reds got 4 in the first. The Royals come up with 5 in the second inning, and as promised, a pleasure to be joining the booth here tonight. The National Football League Coach of the Year last year, leading the Cincinnati Bengals to the AFC North Divisional Championship and a spot in the playoffs. Of course, we're talking about Marvin Lewis. Coach, great to see you. You look good. You look relaxed.
Well, it's a little humid out here tonight. But no, it's great to be here, and obviously we appreciate the Castellini family and the Reds kind of honoring the Bengals and the football team. And had some players here. Not many of them made it down to the field. I found they were all upstairs eating.
I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. Out there.
That one's popped up in the foul ground by Ramon Hernandez for the first out. Obviously, you guys have been so busy. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, Marvin, how this has turned into, for a number of years now, in the NFL. It's nonstop, 12 months a year.
It really is. The NFL season, the off season is not such an off season anymore. We continue from the time we began our off season program, March 29th, to kind of working onto the field as we get into the middle of May, and we'll finish up our spring or summer work, whatever you want to call it, early summer work, with our mandatory mini camp this week. And then our coaches have an opportunity. They'll be off for about 5 weeks, to give them about 5 weeks of vacation before we come back and go to Georgetown for training camp.
You had such a great year last year. Congratulations on the year last year. I know I've had a chance to see it since then, but as you look ahead now to the upcoming 2010 year, you had a great year defensively last year. You had a good year offensively. I think everybody feels like, and you included, I don't want to speak for you, but obviously from a passing game perspective, you ran the ball brilliantly. Passing game, like to see that, I'm sure, improved. How do you see the state of the team as it stands right now, looking ahead to the regular season?
Well, I think with the revisions and some of the things we will continue to work to do offensively, and the addition of some players, it'll help ourselves be more effective in the vertical passing game, and that's really what we're looking for. Is to be better in the vertical game. And you have to run the football to be effective in the National Football League. It's rare that a team can rely just on throwing the football and be successful week after week. And we know in December it's very hard to do that.
Marvin, I know, talking with some of the other guys that I've known around the NFL, not particularly any of the Bengals, but just guys that know of you and have talked to some of the other players that have played for you. I get the sense that you're a no-nonsense guy.
Well, for the most part, I just think there's I kind of believe in the fundamentals of whatever it is, and in this case, football. And I think if you can't block, you can't tackle, you don't throw and catch and defend those things, you're not going to win. And nothing else matters. So those are the most important things to us. And I think our guys know that when they come to work every day, they know they're going to work hard. And we're going to outwork that other club, whoever we're playing, and that's part of what we put together.
Well, the reason I asked you that and said that is because in this day of the high-profile athlete and the big-time money that goes around in just about every sport, if you don't come to work, you're not going to win, are you?
No, if you don't come to work, you're not going to win. But the NFL has, we only have so many things that are mandatory, and that's part of it. So you obviously are talking about my man Ocho. So that's what you're leading to.
No, I'm not.
Believe me, he wasn't. I might have done that. He wasn't, I can promise you.
I don't know. I just know you, and I respect what you're doing. That's what I was going to get to.
For whatever reason, we had some what was I read, somebody told me today, was really a poor headline. Whoever writes the headline for the Inquirer, that was a poor headline because Carson never inferred any.
I know we talked about the Reds losing a game in the standings last night. And so a half game in front of the Cardinals. The Cubs lost again earlier today to their crosstown rival Chicago White Sox at Wrigley Field. A 2-1 final there. And now Jonny Cueto takes a mound after, quite frankly, being booed by a large majority of this crowd after hitting that ground ball. And Cowboy, I mean, I don't know if it adds up to anything, or really at the end of the day, does it really matter that the pitcher hits a routine ground ball and only makes it halfway to first base? But clearly the crowd did not like it a little bit.
Well, I think part of that is more directed to the fact that it was 4-0, and he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing right now. I think that's where that boo came from. It's frustration from the fans that the pitcher let the opponents, the Kansas City Royals of all teams, back in a ball game 5 runs in 1 inning because you're not doing what you're supposed to do on the mound. I don't think it had anything to do with about jogging down the first baseline.
3-1 again, who led off the second inning with a base hit. He chased ball 4 right there, and now it's 3-2.
But I can assure you, Tom, that with this club winning the way that it is, and this club being in first place, if you're a weak link and you're not doing your job, I don't care if you're pitching or trying to hit or whatever it is, and you do that time and time again, you're going to hear what we're hearing right now.
You know, Dusty Baker made a very interesting comment before the game down in his office. He talked about, this team being so young and having such a few number of players that have been involved in any kind of a winning atmosphere and a divisional title chase, much less a divisional title wrapped up somewhere along the line in their careers, and talked about what it's like now to play as a member of the hunted rather than the hunter. And well aware that the St. Louis Cardinals are a team that is used to winning. The expectation level is there, used to winning. They feel like they belong in first place. I mean, heck, they've been there for nearly a decade. And talked about how for a lot of the players on this Reds team, they've got to start to understand that in a hurry. There's a number down to Roland. He's one of the guys that's been in that spot. And a quick throw to Brandon Phillips. Good, clean, hard slide by Guillen. He's forced out at second base. Really, you look around on the entire Reds roster. We know about Cabrera and Roland. They have been there, seemingly year after year after year. Jonny Gomes was part of a good team, but really wasn't a big part of that Tampa Bay team by the time they were ready to win and did win. Ramon Hernandez has certainly been in a winning atmosphere with the Oakland Athletics. Well, you look at the starting rotation. It's been a while since Bronson Arroyo was on a good team. That's a long time ago, a contending team. Nobody else in the rotation has been down that road. Micah Owings, your long man, played on a divisional champ in Arizona and part of their rotation. But Massick, Cordero, Del Rosario, Andrusik, Daniel Ray Herrera, and the only other guy that fits the bill would certainly be Arthur Rhodes. That's about it. And Miguel Cairo off your bench.
And to be honest with you, Tom, we're not even to that point in the season where you worry about that kind of stuff. Right now, it's just about making adjustments and getting better each and every time that you come out onto the field of play. And when you've had 2 starts in the desperation that Cueto has had, today would have been an awfully good day to come out with a little chip on your shoulder and not pitching tentatively. I mean, the umpire that's behind home plate, Welke, is given the fastball strike about 6 inches off the ground. You see where Hernandez is putting his mitt. The laces off the bottom of his mitt are almost touching the ground. He's doing that because of the fact that he gets that strike down there. And Cueto's throwing it almost head high.
Last at bat for Aviles, he had a pitch on the inner half of the plate and whacked it down the left field line for a double. And really appears to be bailing out with that front foot. And Cowboy, you brought it up at the time. That might be the only pitch he's really going to be able to drive anywhere. They tried the outside corner there. And let's see what they do here at 2-2.
Well, the ball that he hit down the right field line, he looked like he just laid the bat out there just to foul it off, and it was just a lazy fly ball down just past the tarp area into the seats. I mean, that pitch there, he's lunging at, trying to get to it.
Well, what a great play by a fan who stands up there in the first row of the third deck.
Sign him up.
I mean, what a play.
See, that's what I'm talking about with the breaking ball right there with the heel. He ain't hitting that. Breaking ball straight up to the sky.
So 2 down in the inning, and here comes Yuniesky Betancourt. He knocked in a run with a tapper over the mound. Brandon Phillips threw him out, and you thought, okay, Cueto's going to get out of the inning with only 1 run allowed. After that ground out, the Royals had a runner at third with 2 men out in the inning. But the troubles were just beginning at that point for Cueto. He allowed an RBI double to the pitcher Brian Bannister. He then walked Scott Pasetnik and Jason Kendall to load him up before a 3-2 pitch to David DeJesus turned into a double off the left field wall to drive in 3.
It's amazing how much difference there is in Cueto's mechanics over the last 3 starts and what they were in May.
Foul out of Willing. It's time now for the red, white, and blue barbecue sweepstakes reminder presented by the Ohio Department of Public Safety. Just go to foxsports.com right now. Enter the keyword double, DOUBLE. Every entry has a chance to win a catered party for 20 from Curly's Barbecue, a 50-inch high-def television, and a $500 gas card. One and 2 to Betancourt. Cueto ready, and now backs off the rubber. Cueto seems to be taking quite a bit of time in between pitches here, just getting a sign from Hernandez. There's a check swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. So a good bounce back inning for Cueto. After a leadoff walk, retires 3 in a row, still a 1-run Reds deficit. Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. That's presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Royals 5, Reds 4. Bottom of the 3rd inning in front of a good crowd tonight at Great American Ballpark on Scott Rowland bobblehead night. Reds got 4 runs off Brian Bannister in the bottom of the first inning. It all started with a solo home run by this man, Brandon Phillips.
This is kind of like deja vu all over again.
You're not lying. Only difference between this at bat and the last one is there was already 1 out in the inning.
No, I'm talking about from last night.
Oh, I understand. You mean being ahead 4-0 and down 5-4? Yes.
They just got it in 1 inning instead of 2.
Look at those numbers for Brandon Phillips in what is now a 15-game hitting streak.
So many times the batting average, when you see players going into a hot hitting streak or a long hitting streak, it may be 1 for 4 or 1 for 5. You don't see the big numbers and the production numbers when you're hitting in a hitting streak. For Phillips, 453. The dude's almost hitting 500. Couple of home runs. He's driving in runs. And we're talking about a guy that's hit in 4 different spots during this streak.
And he has another base hit. Well, also at FoxSportsOhio.com, you can vote for the Reds' top memorable moment that you'd like to see replayed during Sunday's Reds Live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. 41-92 for Peter Edward Rose, or clips from that 75 World Series win over the Boston Red Sox in 7 games. Joey Votto walked, stole a base, scored a run his first time up.
I have a feeling Votto's going to have a good night tonight. After that walk in the first inning, stole a base, got the juices going early. Last night, not such a great night for him. I think tonight's going to be a pretty good night. I just have that feeling.
Well, we know how you get when you get that feeling. It could be indeed a real good night for Votto, or we might have to get some food up here.
Well, we can always use some food.
0-1 the count on Votto. You know, I hear you doing all these commercials all the time for a local pizza place, which will go unnamed, but we never have any of it up here in the booth.
It's because I ate it before we get here. Sorry.
1-1 to Joey Votto, and Bannister to the plate. Big swing and a miss.
Have all intents and purposes of sharing, and the smells just get the best of them.
Yep. A pitch in the dirt. Brandon going to stay put now. An even count on Joey Votto. Leadoff single by Brandon Phillips, representing the tying run here in the Reds' third.
Bannister paying a lot more attention to the base runners now after Votto took that liberty back in the first inning.
Phillips takes off, and what a pitch to run on. A breaking ball that sails high and away. Now Brandon going to third. Here comes the throw there, and Brandon is safe at third. And Callaspo cannot believe it. Ned Yosting put in the Kansas City third base side dugout. That was a gamble by Phillips, and he was lucky to get there.
Well, you have to remember, if you're going to go, you can't think about it. The ball's off the glove. He sees the ball, and he's gone. Now, yes, big-time gamble, but He knows that the ball is behind second base. There's already somebody standing on second. So the man who has the baseball has to throw it over the second base, over the shortstop's head. Ball's high. He's safe.
There's ball 4 to Joey Votto, and now the Reds have 2 on with nobody out in the third, down a run. As many of you know, Edinson Volquez made his first start all the way back from Tommy John elbow surgery today, through 44 pitches, 3 innings, allowed a couple of hits, no runs, struck out 3. And according to everyone who saw Volquez pitch here off the mound prior to being sent out to Lynchburg to start against Potomac today, his stuff was out of sight.
I'm telling you, all he's got to do is get his pitch count, and he's going to be ready. I think he's going to be ready much earlier than what people have been talking about.
Rounded foul by Scott Rolen. Well, of course, during the wintertime, we heard, maybe by August. And now the Reds, Walt Jocketty on Reds Live just a couple of nights ago. I mean, here we are. We're only June the 12th. And the goal is to continue to build him up pitch count wise. And it would not be a surprise for many if he's here in a month, not 2 months.
Well, see, that's what I've thought from the beginning. And when I saw him throw in spring training, realistically, I was thinking June. And I know that's crazy to even say that. But watching what he had and how he was throwing the ball, I thought, man, he's ready now. And then they stopped his throwing. And they did it. That was a wise decision because he was coming too fast. And by slowing him down a little bit, that really makes me feel better about what he's doing now and how hard he's throwing the ball.
There's a swing and a miss on a pitch up in the strike zone, and Rolen gone for the first out of the inning, first strikeout of the night for Brian Bannister.
And we're not talking about just getting some slump pitcher back, a number 5 guy, or maybe somebody that can help us, in middle relief in the bullpen. We're getting back a 17-game winner. For all acts and purposes, had he been healthy last year, he would have started opening day this year.
Bonafide. Now Jonny Gomes, he had a 3-run home run his last time up. He has a tying run at third with 1 out. And looks at ball 1. Well, Jonny Gomes, 44 runs batted in this season. 30 of the 44 have come on the home front, the most among all National League players. Good eye there. That's a pitch this time a year ago. Gomes chases and pops up or hits into a double play.
And I think he really likes hitting against the Royals. We talked about the 10 home runs that he has lifetime, most of any other club that he's played against. And now he's got 11 after the home run today. And you've got to wonder right now, are they talking about on a 2-0 count, is Bob McClure talking about, all right, what are we going to do here? Are we going to give him a pitch to hit? Are we going to throw breaking balls? You do have a base open at second base to play for a double play with Bruce, but don't give in to this guy. Oh! Or maybe the pitching coach was telling him my passes are up there where that home run just hit, and I don't want him to get hurt. Don't let him hit it up there again.
2-0 to Jonny Gomes. Nope. A throw will send Votto back to the bag. Three and 0. Those were the numbers we talked about when Gomes came up his first time up tonight. Lights out.
Yeah.
And a chance to add to those numbers right here and right now as he's swinging 3-0. You betcha. Second 3-run big fly tonight for Jonny Gomes.
I guess I might have to do it again.
Let her rip.
Woo, that's good. That's hot. That's nice. What I'm talking about. Bob McClure goes out to the mound. Pitch him tough, son. 3-0 right down Broadway.
Wow. You getting a curtain call on this one. I mean, we're in the third inning. He's got 2 home runs and 6 runs batted in. He's going to make sure he gives everybody 5 in that dugout.
Well, the guy he needs to make sure he gives 5 to is Jonny Gomes.
Oh, boy. And the next batter, Bruce, launches one into left field. It's up against the wall. And Jay making a turn, coming to third, and he is safe with a triple. And Jonny Gomes, the first guy standing up, giving Jay Bruce a mini curtain call.
It's getting awfully loud. 3-0 pitch. Good morning, Vietnam. Well, I'm just going to keep on saying it. When Jay Bruce goes to left center field, he is a dangerous, dangerous hitter. And I'm not saying the fact that he just hits it that way. When his approach is up the middle and the other way, he's awfully tough to get out.
Squeeze play on, and Drew Stubbs cannot get it down in fair territory.
Well, what Stubbs did there, and this is just a rookie mistake, he tried to make a perfect bunt instead of just bunting the ball on the ground. In that situation, you don't care if you bunt it back to the pitcher. You just want to bunt the ball on the ground. He tried to bunt it down the third baseline, which for a right-hander is the toughest place to bunt.
It's certainly a part of the game that Drew Stubbs will be asked to work on. I mean, not in the offseason. It will be every day during this season.
And he has. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him out there every single day, even with some of the extra guys that aren't playing that day. If they're out there hitting, he's out there bunting. Hitting as well, but the majority of it is bunting.
Boy, Dusty taking a page right out of the Roger Craig playbook right there. When there's a lot going on and confusion and the team is kind of back on its heels on the defense, you get a 3-run home run, a curtain call, next pitch a triple to left center field. That's when you throw the dagger at him in a suicide squeeze play.
You're exactly right, Tom. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's the Don Zimmer, Roger Craig playbook.
And Stubbs strikes out. Boy, a gold-plated RBI chance on the squeeze there for Stubbs. Instead, it turns into a strikeout. And that'll bring up Ramon Hernandez as the Royals defense will back up in the infield with 2 away.
Well, as time goes along, Stubbs and Bruce both will learn that driving in runs is about shortening your swing and making contact. And if the pitcher makes a tough pitch, you foul it off.
We are only in the bottom of the third inning, and already the teams have combined for 12 runs and 10 hits.
Well, I would imagine after Gomes came around the bags on his second 3-run jack, he made his way down to the end of the dugout to talk to Mr. Cueto.
Pitch in the dirt, and Keeping it out in front of him is Kendall. Arizona scored a run in the bottom of the first inning against St. Louis. Still batting are the Diamondbacks. And a 1-0 lead. We'll keep you up to date on that one throughout the night. 8th career multi-home run game for Jonny Gomes tonight, and already a career high 6 runs batted in. A pair of 3-run home runs for Johnny. 2-2 now on Ramon.
That's 2 homers with runners in scoring position, and I guess a homer counts as a hit, right? That should move.
Last time I checked, yes.
That average ought to move up a little bit with runners in scoring position.
Three and 2 on Ramon Hernandez.
I think you look down there in that Reds dugout, and they've just said, the hitters have said to themselves, well, we're just going to keep scoring runs until the game's over. Well, that's a shot for you right there. Tic-tac-toe, 3 All-Stars in a row.
Well, if they went by position, as here's a base hit, a 2-out single to knock in a run by Ramon Hernandez to score Jay Bruce, and that'll make it 8-5.
That at bat right there is an RBI at bat. He knows the guy's pitching around him. He knows he's got Cueto standing on deck, and the whole time he's fighting pitches off, and trying to make Bannister get greedy with the 2-strike count, and he does. He gets greedy, and sure enough, Hernandez makes him pay. Every pitcher will say, no matter who's at the plate, well, I got 2 strikes on him. I think I can get him right here. Well, that ball was running off the plate. Hernandez gets inside of it, gets just enough of it to get it through the infield, and that's going to be an RBI on his chart.
Well, now Johnny Cueto, a little pop up in his short right. And Aviles will get to it, and that will end the inning. Jonny Gomes in the first, 3-run homer in the third. Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra here at Great American Ballpark. By JTM. Food, family, fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC. We are professional grade, and right now our telecast live on Fountain Square, as it is each and every night here on Fox Sports Ohio. Boy, there's a lot happening downtown these days.
When your manager talks to you after an inning, especially when the last out is a bullet and you've given up the lead, and you go over, you talk to the manager, he's going to instruct you as to what you need to do to pitch when you have a 4-run lead. He gets the next inning, he goes out. He did walk a batter in the inning, but then he got 3 consecutive outs. He comes right back over to Dusty Baker. See the circle that Dusty Baker is making with his hand? That's what he wants Cueto to be thinking about as far as the strike zone. Not some big, huge thing that he's going to move the ball all over the place. When you've got a 4-run lead, you pump that baby in there and you make them beat you. You don't walk 2 guys and give it to them.
Brian Bannister is going to bat. You may remember the Royals used every single pitcher they had in their bullpen here in the game last night. Every one of them. And gone on strikes is Bannister after he knocked in a run with a double his first time up.
Well, he hit a double off a fastball the first time. He did not see a fastball in that at bat. I think we're learning.
3 strikeouts, 4 walks, 5 runs, 4 hits so far against Cueto. And now the leadoff hitter will bat for the 3rd time in the game. And nothing but strikes to begin this fourth inning for Jonny Cueto. Well, you like seeing your manager, go right to the source. Oh. What a play by Brandon Phillips. A laser off the bat of Scott Podsednik. And Phillips, who won a Gold Glove 2 years ago, certainly making a strong bid to get it back here in 2010.
The reaction on this is incredible. It wasn't just a step and dive. He took 3 steps and then made the dive and had to catch the ball behind him. That's full out extension. But Tom, if you walk a guy, you don't give your fielder a chance to make a play like that. And when you're throwing strikes,
well, he's throwing strikes in this inning, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. He's retired now 6 in a row. Look at Brandon. Parallel. Got it. Left center or right center tonight, James Shoemaker of Norwood, Ohio, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark, and you can register for your chance to win that baby in an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer.
I'm feeling better and better about that. In the beginning I thought, I don't think anybody may hit that. After those balls that Johnny hit, he might knock that thing off there.
He might knock the Tundra off that in left center.
That's reaching, but I like your positive outlook.
Well, why not? The way he's hitting tonight, you never know.
Okay, well, you're right. You're right.
He might bat again here in this inning. Cabrera, 2-hopper to Betancourt, and a 1-hop throw. Gets by Billy Butler at first base. And Cabrera aboard.
That left side of the infield has an awfully difficult time getting their angles on the baseball. And Betancourt there did not get the right angle. He had to throw off balance, and he made a bad throw.
That'll be an error on the Kansas City shortstop. Our AT&T trivia question for tonight: who was the first Royals player with a 5-hit game in interleague play? Going back to 1997, I believe, the first year of interleague play. And no, George Brett wasn't playing then. Any question that has to do with the Royals on offense?
Sweeney. I'm saying Sweeney. Sweeney, dude.
Is that your guess? Mike Sweeney?
Yes.
Who's now, I believe, in Seattle, right?
I don't know. I just know he's not with the Royals.
No. Brandon Phillips now the batter. A perfect 2 for 2 tonight. A home run and a single. Has scored a couple of runs. Has knocked in 1 run.
It's kind of like going through the gauntlet right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Boy, you're not lying. And this is going to be Brandon Phillips' 3rd hit tonight. That's when you know you're going good. And first to third goes Cabrera.
I'm telling you, the Reds are so aggressive on the base pass. They're just waiting for somebody on the opposition to make a mistake. That ball is down and in. Phillips is able to get inside of it, flip it into right field. No, he didn't hit the ball great, but he hit it where somebody wasn't at. And you look at Cabrera, he never even stopped for a second. I mean, he didn't stutter, step, nothing. Full bore into third base. Phillips rounded first aggressively. He was headed to second had that throw gone to third.
Votto rips one into right center field. That'll fall in a hit and drive in another run. It is 9-5 Reds. You thought Joey Votto was in line for a big night tonight. He's on base for the 3rd straight time.
Well, he gets a fastball, and this fastball he hammers. It runs back over the plate. It starts inside and runs back to the heart about mid-thigh high. And Brian Bannister is lucky that that ball was not lost on that barge going upriver right now.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Yes, sir.
But waiting in the on-deck circle is Jonny Gomes. And right now there are 2 men on base.
Oh, Billy, 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 Billy. Oh. What happens if Roland hits an infield single
Or walks?
Is it possible to, well, he has 2 3-run homers, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, is it possible to get the cycle in homers, RBI homer things? Like a single shot homer, 2-run homer, 3-run homer, and a grand slammer?
That is a very good question.
I mean, I know that it's possible. I just don't know if it's been done. Be kind of cool.
Be really cool. Still nobody out. 1 run in, 2 on for Scott Rowland. Rowland 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the first, struck out in the third. Well, again, it's Kanekoa to Sharon, a right-hander getting loose in the Kansas City bullpen. I mean, Bannister is just taking a licking here tonight, and certainly taking one for the team, if you will, because of all the bullpen they've had to use, especially the last 2 games. They had a huge lead 2 nights ago against Minnesota and nearly let it get away. They had to get a late home run to win 9-8. Used a lot of bullpen in that one. Went through the entire bullpen here last night. They're very lucky that game ended when it did, or they were in a pile of trouble. And there's a base hit into left field. They're going to wave around Phillips. He will score easily on a single by Rowland. And the Reds just keep on rolling. It's 10-5, and Johnny's coming up again with 2 men on.
You can see the arm of the third base coach, Mark Berry, never stopped waving. He was waving his arm as fast as he could as Phillips comes around third base. He gets a great jump. Now, remember, we told you earlier, that man right there does not have a good arm. Watch this throw. Not even thinking about getting there on time.
Well, don't go away from your TV. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Jonny Gomes coming up. Already has 2 3-run homers tonight. Tonight with 2 runners aboard. That was the story in the first inning. 3-run home run, upper tank. 2-1 in the third. 3-run home run, lower tank. Curtain call. Career high already, 6 runs batted in. And now Jonny Gomes will face a new pitcher. His other 2 home runs coming against the starter Brian Bannister. Now it's Kanekoa Teixeira. We saw him in the game last night. For 2/3 of an inning, walked a batter, gave up a base hit. It had to be bailed out with 2 on in the bottom of the 9th inning by left-hander Dusty Hughes, who retired Joey Votto to send us to extra inning. All righty. Johnny digging in, tugging on that helmet. He is the last Red to hit 3 home runs in a game. Did it last August against the Nationals. August 13th. Inside corner. Gomes didn't like that call, I don't think.
Now, that pitch was better than the first one. That pitch had some run to it. Started on the plate and then ran in. Fox Track says no. First pitch to me looked like it was definitely inside. But the umpire's setting over that shoulder of the catcher.
And that pitch barely nicks Jonny Gomes.
That barely caught the outside thread on the bottom button just below the belt, just above the belt buckle. The thread on that button was hanging out just a bit.
Now Jay Bruce about it with the bases loaded, still only one out, or nobody out in the inning.
If Jay has a grand slam.
He has one. I believe that came against Atlanta last year, if I'm not mistaken. That's when he went on that 2 years ago, when he went on that home run binge to start his major league career. Swing and a miss by Mr. Bruce.
This is what makes me start thinking again about how good of a hitter Jay Bruce is. His mindset is left center field and not moon deck in right field.
The grand slam, by the way, against John Lieber, then of the Cubs in 2008.
You could really see him pull off the ball there on both of those pitches. The ball that he hit for the triple, just below the 379 sign in left center field. We talked so many times, Tom, about the adrenaline in the game and how it just almost takes over your body and your mind when you get into a situation like this. You want to hit the ball hard, but you've got to think and stay with your game plan. Think the other way and then just trust your hands. One out. Anytime you come to the plate and you think grand slam, it's kind of like standing on the mound and thinking, I want to throw the ball 96 miles an hour. It's probably not going to happen. You're going to choke it off and either bounce it in the dirt or hit it halfway up the backstop. But if you think I'm just going to stay nice and smooth, hit the outside corner here, make a good pitch, well, much better off.
Oh, and 1 to Drew's Cubs, bases loaded, 1 out in the inning. Reds 4 in the first. Kansas City got 5 in the second. The Reds 4 more in the third and 2 so far with the bases loaded and 1 out in the fourth inning. High fly ball down the left field line by Stubbs towards the corner. And what a play by Posednik. Tagging and scoring from third is Joey Votto. Posednik slid and then caught the ball. What a nice play.
I'm not really sure why he slid there. I think he thought he was much closer to the wall than he was. Slides and makes the catch. I tell you what, he was awfully lucky to be able to get that ball into the glove. He almost misplayed that for a lot of runs.
So the Reds now lead 11-5. Drew Stubbs a sac fly RBI, give him 31 runs batted in. And here's Hernandez, who knocked in a run his last time out with a 2-out single to left field. It's the third time in 4 innings the Reds have sent at least 7 men to the plate in an inning. 7 in the first, 8 in the third, and the 8th batter here in the fourth. Well, I tell you one thing about this team. One of the rare nights last night where they failed to cash in on all the opportunities to win the game late. But boy, they are knocking the cover off the ball right now. It's no wonder the Reds lead the league in every major offensive category there is. An 11-5 lead through 4 innings tonight. Ends his hitting streak to 15 consecutive games with a home run in the very first at bat tonight. You know, we were talking about Brandon Phillips and how right now Chase Utley is the leader, vote leader for the All-Star game at the second base position. And you start looking at the numbers. of Brandon Phillips and how they stack up with Chase Utley. There you get a look at the numbers inside of Brandon's 15-game hitting streak. But Phillips with 3 more hits tonight has a batting average up to .312. That is 52 points higher than Chase Utley, who's batting .260. Power numbers, you say? Chase Utley has 10 home runs. Brandon Phillips has 8. RBIs, 26 for Utley, 23 for Phillips. Doubles, 19 for Phillips, 11 for Utley. On base percentage, pretty much a wash. 378 to 365. Slugging percentage, Brandon Phillips with a higher slugging percentage.
Injustice, you say.
And the defense, there's no contest.
No.
And I'm not taking anything away from Chase Utley, because believe me, I'll take him on my team all day, every day. Yeah. We're just talking about right now who deserves to be the starting second baseman. And we're only talking about those two just because Utley's the leading vote getter. But of course, we still have another couple of weeks, I believe, in fan balloting. And we'll see what happens.
But I mean, the thing that kills me is when you got a guy like Ricky Weeks that's ahead of Phillips. Come on.
Hey. Swing and a miss. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question as De Jesus goes down on strikes to begin the inning. Who was the first Royals player with a 5-hit game in interleague play? Familiar name to Royals fans and Reds fans. Joe Randa in 1999. Not a bad day. Look at the score of that game, 17-13. And how about that? Almost as though it was staged. A Joe Randa jersey in the stands. You got to be kidding. That might be Joe Randa.
Come on.
You know, we were talking about the All-Star balloting as it's 2-0 on Billy Butler. And I think the easy thing for a lot of people to say in the mid-sized markets and the small markets is, heck, our guys don't stand a chance. Only the big market guys get all the votes for the All-Star game. It's interesting to look at the leaders in both leagues right now, and there's still more time to go. That one ripped up the third base line, an extra base hit for Billy Butler. But when you look at the National League, the 3 big markets, right? New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. The only player on those 3 teams that would start the All-Star game if the balloting ended right now is unquestionably the most deserving player in the entire National League, and that would be Andre Ethier of the Dodgers. When you look in the American League, again, you go Yankees in New York, Chicago, Anaheim. The only leaders are the middle infielders for the New York Yankees. Jeter gets votes everywhere, and Robinson Cano is one of the probably 4 or 5 guys right now that would be right in the race for an MVP award.
Yeah, he's right.
So I think it's easy just to say, you know, just because you haven't looked at it maybe, and I'll be honest with you, I hadn't looked at it until today. Heck, it's only the big market guys.
It's easy to say, ho-hum, there. No matter if I vote or not, my vote's not going to count. The guys in New York and L.A. or Boston, wherever, they're going to win because there's all those people there and they vote every day.
You took the words out of my mouth, Cowboy. I forgot to even mention Boston. They don't have a single player right now in line to start the game.
Bottom line for this club, you got 4 or 5 guys that deserve, not could make it, deserve to make it.
And then, of course, we haven't even reached Mike Leake yet.
And the thing that everybody is going to see as time moves on with the way that the closing situation is in the National League, when you look at the amount of saves that Cordero has, and by the time he gets to the point where it's picking time, his ERA is going to be much lower than where it is right now, and his stats are going to look awfully good.
I don't mean to point out the obvious. You know, we were talking about, you know, in the outfield, they just go by 3 outfielders. They don't go it by left, center, and right. There's a fly ball to left center field that Stubbs will run down. We'll get back to this conversation in a minute. But Jonny Gomes now leads the league in RBIs this season. The league. The press box, so much more. A ballpark tour ticket also includes admission to the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. Book your tour today at 513-765-7923 or visit Reds.com. Teixeira, a clean inning in relief of Brian Bannister in 3+ innings. Kansas City right-hander allowed 10 hits, 11 runs, 9 earned. Jonny Cueto, meanwhile, Cowboy, ever since that conversation, and very much a one-way conversation from manager to pupil, has only allowed 2 base runners since the 3rd inning started. A walk and a hit, and he's gone swinging in the bottom of the 5th.
And I think some of that, Tom, especially with a young pitcher, and I know that Johnny's been around more than what a lot of people would consider a young pitcher, but he's still a very young pitcher. When you have a ball game like this, and you've had ball games where you've gone out and thrown a 1-hit shutout and you've just been dominant, well, that's the same thing you want to feel that every time. Well, when you're winning the ball game, you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to dominate these guys now. Well, you might not have that stuff that day. So instead, you do what Dusty was giving him, that little circle there. Okay, make the plate a little bit smaller, and you get the ball towards the middle of the plate rather than the outside of the plate when you've got a 5 or 6 run lead.
When the Reds get it done with an RBI this season, that means another $25 from Shakely for the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. A lot of money going to the Reds Community Fund tonight. Three hits, 3 at-bats, 3 runs scored for Brandon Phillips tonight. Has that batting average all the way up to .312. Brandon Phillips 3 weeks ago was batting .258. Foul out of play off to the first base side. You know, we're starting to talk about, you know, the All-Star game, and here with the Reds in front 11-5. Certainly worth, you know, taking a look at what guys are doing and some of the numbers, and certainly Charlie Manuel, the National League manager again this year for the All-Star team. We'll start looking inside some of the numbers in another week or two, I'm sure, from now, if he hasn't already. There's a one-hopper down to first, and that'll retire the side in order. We move to the 6th. Reds in front by 6.
Inning, And across the Ohio River, of course, the Italian Festival going on this weekend. So there's some big to-do here on the Ohio River. Jim Day with you. And, of course, Great American Ballpark. You've got great views of the Ohio River, unlike the enclosed Riverfront Stadium. But let's talk soccer for just a moment. The World Cup is underway in South Africa. And it's part of our Meyer textbook question of the night. How into the World Cup are you after the United States and England tied at 1 today? Are you into it not at all? A little? You'll follow the USA team, or you're riveted by it? Text 1, 2, or 3 with your choice. 37664 is where you text your votes to. Standard text message rates apply. Are the results coming up? I have a question. How big is soccer in Mississippi?
It's huge. Even more so now that the U.S. tied England. That is like a major victory for the United States in order to have a draw. Even their players ahead of time. I mean, how many times do you have players before the game say, well, we'd just take a tie? I mean, that never happens. And that's what the players were saying today. That's how good England is.
And in the clubhouse today, Cowboy, the Reds players were glued to the screen watching that game. So I think it spread a little bit. Even Dusty Baker in his pregame comments was asked, hey, are you into soccer? And to our surprise, he said, yeah, I played in the Long Beach Soccer Association. So he played soccer as a kid.
Anybody in this country today that has children above the age of 6 knows exactly what soccer is, and I guarantee you, they know all about it because their kids are telling them about it.
Avila's a soft liner that is caught by Orlando Cabrera to begin the 6th inning.
Not only are the Reds throwing the wood, they are also throwing the leather. This is an awfully nice play. That ball had a lot of topspin, a fastball up and away. It's not only diving on Cabrera, but it's hooking away from him. Nice play. Solid.
Swinging a foul ball back by Betancourt.
I think there's a lot of older folks that are voting on that never had soccer in their day. I didn't have soccer when I was growing up, even though I'm younger than Dusty Baker. But we didn't have soccer. I mean, you played football, baseball, or basketball. Or you cleaned up for the guys that played football, baseball, or basketball.
Look at the last 3 innings, and now a 4th inning for Cueto.
A meeting in the 2nd, a meeting in the 3rd. Voila.
And 2 to Betancourt. And swung on and fouled out of play. We'll keep it right there. And that fastball at 96 miles per hour.
Johnny is so much better when he just goes out there and attacks the hitters and stops trying to just dink over here and dink over there. And let me throw this here and change that. Just let it fly. Go get him.
What's that line from Major League?
Throw him the heater, Ricky. You like that? I love it. Well, the thing about it with Johnny is his stuff is so good. I mean, when he just rocks back and lets it fly, he actually stays towards home plate. He doesn't fall off to the side. When he falls off to the side is when he's trying to aim the ball. Right now, he's just being aggressive and going after the hitters. He's staying ahead in the count. When you're ahead in the count, they're going to chase pitches that are up and out of the zone right now. They're trying to catch up.
First career at bat for Kaneko Teixeira.
Good luck.
Well, barring a major comeback, the Royals are going to have to cover 3 more innings out of their bullpen tonight. That's why down 6 with 2 outs and nobody on, they're going to let Teixeira go ahead and bat. I mean, you can't begin to talk about how lucky the Royals were not to win the game. They deserved to win the game, but win the game when they did finally put it to bed. Because if that game goes 1 more inning, boy, do they have some issues today. There's strike 3, and that's 6 of them now for Jonny Cueto. Gets through 6. He'll get a nice round of applause from the Reds crowd. He's battled back tonight. The Coors Light freeze cam. The 2 swings of Jonny Gomes, both resulting. Once in the first, once in the third, and 3-run home runs. And that was the Coors Light freeze cam, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Johnny is due up. 3rd.
Well, for a minute there, looking at those 2 pictures side by side, the 2 home runs, it looked like we were looking at the same swing, at the same time, and those were 2 different pitches, almost 30 minutes apart. Identical.
Joey Votto, 2 walks, a single, has knocked in a run, has scored 3 times and stolen a base. Votto trying to join that 40 RBI club. We told you Jonny Gomes, with a career high 6 runs batted in tonight, is now the official National League leader in runs batted in. 47 of them. 1 more than Casey McGee of the Milwaukee Brewers. Of the top 10 players in runs batted in the National League, only 2 of them are outfielders. Jonny Gomes and Jason Hayward of the Atlanta Braves. Hayward has 42. This has so far been the year of the 3rd baseman. Runs batted in the National League. McGee, 46. Cantu, 45. Roland, 44. Mark Reynolds of Arizona, 43. And there's strike 3 called to Joey Votto. Then you have David Wright with 42. Roland, by the way, has the 3rd best slugging percentage in the league, behind Andre Ethier of the Dodgers. Of course, Ethier was on the disabled list. He might be leading the National League in everything had he not gotten hurt. Nice play by Kayaspo. 2 away.
All right, Reds fans, JTM wants to know how you 32. Grab a bag of JTM's new 32-count burgers and visit howdoyou32.com for more details. JTM, food, family, and fun.
Here's Johnny.
2 homers, then they hit him, kinda.
Yeah, for those of us just joining us, for those of you just joining us, it wasn't like they intentionally hit it. It grazed his jersey.
When we say grazed, we mean
like a thread.
Yeah, like hit a
hanging thread.
And it may have been the thread of the baseball that tipped the jersey.
Meanwhile, Arizona is blasting the Cardinals. That game in the 4th inning, 6-0 D-backs.
Who's pitching for the Diamondbacks in that game?
Danny Herron.
Oh, he's the former Cardinal, so you know he's going to want to, do that.
One and one to Jonny Gomes, and Teixeira the pitch. And this time he's drilled up and in.
Now that was a hit batter.
Yeah, with 2 outs and nobody on, a little bit different ball game.
Yeah. I'm not real happy about that one.
And a good move here by Tim Welke by not issuing a warning to either team. I don't think he did anyway.
I'm not sure if he did or not, but that's that wasn't the one that just barely nicked the jersey. That one was up around the, even though it hit him in the shoulder, had he not jumped the shoulder up there, that would have caught him in the chin. If I'm Gomes right now, I might be a little hot. You can see Gomes right now talking to Billy Butler about the same thing over there at first base.
Bruce pops it up. Let's see if Gomes runs by the pitcher here on his way back. He's going to turn around and
not going to say a word.
AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. By Grainger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. An 11-5 ball game. Reds in front as we move to the 7th inning at Great American Ballpark. And now taking over for Jonny Cueto on the mound, having just a spectacular year. Boy, and if there is one guy, we've talked about a bunch of them on this Reds team that could be in line for the All-Star game, no one is more deserving than Arthur Rhodes.
Well, and I totally agree with that. The one thing for Arthur Rhodes right now is to get a few more innings underneath his belt before the All-Star break or the All-Star picking process gets here. Still riding that scoreless streak.
Well, you're not lying. What a run it has been for Arthur Rhodes. A career-high 25-inning scoreless streak, the longest by a reliever in the major leagues this year. Detroit's Jose Valverde has an active streak at 24 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings. The 25 innings in a row by Rhodes, the longest by a Reds reliever since John Franco all the way back in 1988. Went 27 1/3 scoreless innings in July. Fly ball left center field, and you can tack on another third of an inning. Sunday's always a great day at the ballpark with the entire family. Tomorrow, the first 10,000 kids 14 and younger get a Brandon Phillips wall sticker thanks to Bob Evans. Get your tickets now, 381-REDS, or visit reds.com/family. And of course, you can buy a full price ticket. You have to do it in advance of game day, so you'd have to do it now. And then all other family members get non-premium tickets at half price. So it's a mighty good deal if you want to come on down to the game tomorrow. Swinging a foul ball back out of play. Great to see our old buddy Kirk Herbstreit again here tonight. Man, he's wearing out a trail.
Herbie.
Down 71 from Columbus.
You know what?
His wife Allison here with him tonight. They had the boys with him the other night, and the two of them just hanging tonight. Good for them.
I have noticed that Herbie has been here a lot more here in the year of 2010 now that the Reds are in first place.
You know what, though? You can never call him a front runner.
Well, I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying that he was not here as much last year or the year before or the year before. but he is now. I know he's a huge Reds fan.
He is I mean, huge Reds fan. Of course, he does his radio show up in Columbus. He's always talking up the Reds. And look, last number of years, I mean, it's been hard to, once you got into July, August, September, to have a lot of good things to say.
Well, I know the big issue for Herbie is the fact that when he's home, he's spending a lot of times with his boys. He's got 4 boys. A lot of time he spends on the road during football season. So this for him is really like the winter for me. That's the time I spend with my children. I mean, it's every day, all day. I drive carpool. I'm going to the birthday parties. I'm everywhere they go, I'm going. I wear the Indian hats around the, whatever it is, you go. And for him, it's the same thing. And it's much easier to talk your wife into driving a couple of hours to a ball game when you're in first place than when they're in last.
Well, there's no doubt about that. He's got the twins, Jake and Ty, and 2 other boys, Zach and Chase. I'm sure they're watching the game up in Columbus right now. We talked about it the other night. I mean, Herbie and his father, both of them, team captains for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong. 2-2 to Jason Kendall.
And they would never know that Herbie or his granddaddy were the team captains or anything else like that. All they know is that he's their dad.
That's right. There's a base hit in the left field by Kendall. A 1-out single for the Kansas City catcher. Now David DeJesus. Mitch Meyer will now come up and bat. I beg your pardon for DeJesus. And he fouls it away down a strike. Saw Meyer late in the game last night. Reds leading 11-5. We're in the 7th inning, and the Cardinals are trailing in Arizona 6-1. That game in the 5th. That's a big old hang with him for Mitch Meyer. Hey, by the way, this cat out there on the mound's a left-hander. He hadn't given up a run since the 5th game of the season. So go get him.
Yeah. Good luck. And our pitcher, I forgot to mention, our pitcher just drilled their left fielder after 2 homers. So make sure you hang in there on that curve. Big guy. We're going to take DeJesus out. We don't want him to get hurt.
Fastball away. 1-2 to Meyer.
Every time I hear the name Meyer, I think of Jeffrey Meyer.
From Yankee Stadium you're talking about many years ago. How about Meyer? He goes up there and punches one into left field, a base hit.
Does a good job here. He got a lot of fastballs and 3rd consecutive fastball. Just takes it the other way. Rhodes made him look awfully bad with some breaking balls and then never went back to it.
Two on, one out. And a fastball is inside to Billy Butler. Well, we were told before this game ever started that we basically had about a 3-hour window tonight to get this thing in before there was massive rain making its way in from the west. And we were just told in between innings, Jeff Pecoro letting us know, is there's a very light rain now or no?
It's just the fact that the temperature is really starting to drop. That usually means the rain is on its way. I'll let you know if I smell it.
2-0 the count on Billy Butler. Rolling off his glove. Everybody's safe. So 3 straight hits after the first out was recorded by Rose, and now his scoreless inning streak is very much in jeopardy.
Fastball. Thought for a second there Roland was going to be able to make the catch, but as he went down to a knee, that knee stuck and he ran out of glove. The ball hit off the end of the glove.
Of course, Arthur Rhodes has been bothered with a sore foot. He's been pitching through this regularly. Cowboy, I think some people might be saying, and not because the bases are loaded and there's 3 straight hits, but you know, you want to stay away from Rhodes last night because he had pitched an inning and 2/3 the day before. Is it somewhat odd at all to you? Perhaps not at all, that he comes into a game with a 6-run lead in the 7th inning.
No, because you have the off day on Monday, and the last thing that you want to have happen is for Arthur not to pitch today or tomorrow, and then the off day come up, and then you have the Dodgers coming in, and they've got some awfully strong lefties. So if I'm the manager, if I'm Dusty, I ask Arthur, okay, you want to pitch tonight? You want to pitch tomorrow? You want to pitch both days? Do you want to pitch tonight at least an inning and then maybe pitch tomorrow and have the 2 days off going into the Dodgers series? Or do you want to pitch 2 days in a row and then have the off day? And I'm sure that Arthur told him he was ready to pitch today.
Line drive to third, and that's his second out of the inning. Guillen hit that ball right on the nose, but right at Scotty Rowland. Boy, did he hit that ball.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
All right. So now an out away from keeping the scoreless streak intact. Bases loaded. 2 men are out. Reds with a 6-run lead. And here's Callaspo.
He'll turn around to the right side.
Fly ball right field. 26 consecutive scoreless innings for Sir Arthur Rhodes. They love him here in Cincinnati, boy. Pasednik out in left field, and we have a new battery. Brian Pena now behind the plate. And Dusty Hughes takes over on the mound. Saw Hughes for all of 1 batter last night, but he did his job. He retired Joey Votto to end the 9th inning with 2 on. Teixeira gives him 3 solid innings out of the bullpen. Strikes out 3, hits 2. Did not allow a run. In fact, he did not allow a base hit. One and 2 now on Drew Stubbs, and Hughes going to work. Fastball up and away.
If you take Kendall out of the game here with a couple of innings, really 3 innings left to play, partial of 3. Maybe Ned Yost is thinking about catching Kendall tomorrow in the day game.
Base hit in the left center field that will go to the alley, and with his Cubs, that's an easy 2-base hit for Drew Stubbs. Well, kick off your weekends every Friday at Great American Ballpark. Our next Fireworks Friday, after we had a big one here last night, is on June the 25th, brought to you by Jeff Weiler. The Reds and the Indians get together that weekend. Friday, June the 25th. 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com.
How about this, Tom? I had some friends of mine here at the ball game last night. They were talking about the fireworks after the game. Today we were having lunch, and they said, do they have fireworks like that every Friday at the game? I'm like, yeah, they're the best ever. And they were like, yeah, they're the best we've ever seen. They're better than 4th of July or New Year's Eve fireworks anywhere that we've been. And I said, well, most ballparks don't do it like that. When we were in Washington last week, you know, we're in the nation's capital, and they just kind of did a few firecrackers, and it was over. You do fireworks in Cincinnati, it's on.
That's because it's the home of Rozzy.
Well, Rozzy is big time.
Oh, yeah. Ramon Hernandez, 1 for 3 in the game, knocked in a run with a single in the 3rd inning. 11 runs, 11 hits for the Reds. Chris Heisey has moved into the on-deck circle. Go back for Arthur Rhodes. Well, you're having one of those magical years. You know it's really special, and we were talking about this in between innings. When you come into a game with a long scoreless inning streak, you give up 3 hits in an inning, and you don't give up a run.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, that's really the story of this ball club. I mean, it just continues to click together. Things that you never expect will happen have happened, and you almost get to the point now where you just expect the Reds. You come to the ballpark with the expectation of the Reds winning, but in the back of your mind you just wonder, okay, are they going to win tonight with a shutout, or are they going to win with a bunch of runs early in the game, or is it going to come down to like the 9th or the 10th where Cordero comes in and he's got to save that 1-run game? Or are we going to have to come from behind again?
Gone swinging Hernandez for the first out of the inning. They have been an unbelievably exciting team to watch.
Oh, yeah. It is the ultimate reason to buy a ticket to come to the ballpark, because this is not only a first-place team and a winning team, but they are some kind of fun to watch. They don't lay down for anybody at any time, anywhere, and they hustle like no team I've ever been around before, and that includes the teams that I played for.
And now another Red is hit with a pitch.
All right, now it's getting old.
But you don't think that one had any intent to it, do you?
I don't care if it had any intent at all. You brushed my guy once, then you hit him. He had 2 home runs, and now you've hit a 3rd guy. Well, that bothers me. And I'm just a pitcher. I'm a little sensitive about stuff like that.
Well, you're always, and always have been, a very sensitive man in general.
I don't like my boys getting hit.
Strike 1 to Orlando Cabrera.
These aren't even my boys. Can't help it.
0-2 on Orlando Cabrera with 2 on and 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. In the air, pretty well hit, but room out there in right for Bloomquist, and there are 2 gone in the inning. And tagging up and advancing on the 3rd is Drew Stubbs. The night is over for Brandon Phillips. Another great night for Brandon. 3 more hits, 3 more runs scored, knocked in a run, hit a home run, stole a base, and made the play we just showed you a moment ago, our Morel hot dog play of the night on defense. Paul Janisch will bat for Brandon, and I would assume just stay in the game. Boy, you think about the last number of months for Paul Janisch. We're talking about going into January, early February before the Reds had signed Orlando Cabrera. He's preparing himself, of course, to have a chance to be the everyday shortstop. And we know what a great defender he is. Certainly there are questions about his offense. But I'll tell you what, when he's gotten the chance to swing the bat this year, he looks like a different hitter. And did in spring training. But as soon as the team signed Cabrera, he knew all of a sudden he would again be a backup guy. He has a total of 35 at-bats this entire year. I mean, to call him a seldom used player doesn't do that term justice.
Well, I think that as the season moves along and you start to get some fatigue by Roland, who is a veteran player, Cabrera, a veteran player, you can't run Phillips out there for 162, surely. You got to give him a day off here and there. You're going to see some more playing time by Paul Janisch.
There's the 4th Reds batter hit tonight. Well, you hear all the time pitchers have to be able to pitch inside, and certainly Dusty Hughes is doing that. Teixeira hit 2, and now Hughes has hit 2 here in the 7th inning. Bases loaded for Joey Votto. Drilled into left center field and able to run it down is Meyer to end the inning. Reds leave them loaded. We go to the 8th. Reds in front 11-5.
To get it done. And that man early in the ball game, well, I guess you could say he was getting it done.
And ever since hitting the 2 3-run home runs, he's been hit twice.
Well, if you're in that locker room and you want to be Johnny's friend, I'm not telling you what to do.
Paul Janisch, after batting for Brandon Phillips, stays in the game to play second base, and now on the mound. Boy, he really has looked good since coming back up from AAA Louisville. Start of the year, of course, got knocked around a little bit. His first taste of the big leagues is Logan Ondrusek.
You can forget about those numbers that you just saw on the screen and let Tom and I just tell you, he's been a new guy on the mound. And the reason why is he is throwing strikes, he's working quickly, and he's working down in the strike zone.
To the count, and Ondrusek to the plate, just off the outside edge.
Picaro challenge you and fans at the ballpark on Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. So you think you're a Reds fan trivia. Brought to you by AE Door and Window.
At AE Door and Window, we are a proud provider of garage doors, garage door openers, and service for the Cincinnati Reds. We're Reds fans, and we hope you are too.
Classic car enthusiasts like challenges.
That had chipmunks living in the trunk.
They're adventurous.
Your right foot gets a little heavy. Things start to happen real fast.
They're good shoppers.
Paid $75 for the whole car. My dad said the guy seen me coming.
They're honest to a fault.
Were you more impressed with the car or with the guy?
Probably with the car at that time.
They share their stories on Cruise in Ohio, presented by Best of Show Automotive, every Monday night at 8.
You can also cast your Scott's All-Star ballot at Lowe's and enter to win a VIP All-Star experience, compliments of Scott's. Told you about the Reds and the Indians getting together, playing for the Ohio Cup Series presented by the Ohio Lottery. That'll be here at Great American Ballpark Friday, Saturday, Sunday, June the 12th. Ohio Cup Series presented by the Ohio Lottery. That'll be here at Great American Ballpark Friday, Saturday, Sunday, June the 25th, 6th, and 7th. Battle for the Buckeye State, and get your tickets right now. 513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. Reds beat the Indians 2 out of 3 in Cleveland when we were up there at the end of last month, Mr. Brent.
Yes, they did.
Wilson Betemit takes over now over at third base. Still Dusty Hughes out there on the mound.
I'd like to beat them 3 out of 3 when they come here.
That'd be nice.
Yes, it would. I think Johnny's coming back up again here in a minute.
Yes, he is. He's up next. 2-0 to Scott Rowland. Getting another baby here tonight. Rowland 2 more hits. That batting average all the way up to .313. .3-0 from a left-hander Hughes, who left them loaded in the last half inning.
And it's good that the Reds are swinging the hot bats and getting things going in the right direction. They're going to need that with the Dodgers coming to town next week, because they are playing some kind of baseball.
Taken outside. Of course, they swept the Cardinals earlier in the week, and then they took a licking last night, boy. Angels beat up on the Dodgers 10-1. Well, here comes Johnny.
I'm going to suggest something to Dusty Hughes. He hit 2 guys in that last inning. He might want to pitch away right here.
You think?
Well, if he hits Johnny, Johnny gets hit again right here, he may go out there and take care of it.
Oh, just got underneath that one. And is it playable? No. He'll get another chance.
Missed it by that much. Watch Gomes' front shoulder here. See that front shoulder come out? That's why he was just a tad early. You can see the shoulder here really coming open first. And what it does is he gets on top of the baseball. You see the bat underneath the baseball there. Hits it straight up into the sky. He's just lucky enough that he pulled it enough to get it into the seats.
Gomes tonight a pair of 3-run homers, then got hit by a pitch in the 4th, hit again in the 6th. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. 0-2.
Good changeup there by Dusty Hughes. I keep wanting to call him Dusty Rose.
Of course,
he's a wrestler.
Well, I know there's also a very famous Dusty Rhodes here in Cincinnati. Long-time radio host, disc jockey here in town. And now is our county treasurer, or auditor.
Is that the guy that's got his name on all the gasoline pumps?
That's him. Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, I've seen that dude. I thought the wrestler had got a new job.
There's strike 3 called to Johnny. He'll do the 2-step on his way back to the dugout.
I'm tired and I want to go to bed. You see where that one was?
Had a little drink about an hour ago.
Well, that'd be illegal. if you're umpiring.
How's that go on land or sea or foe? Come on, you know the rest.
And I went back to my head.
That's a favorite sing-along for a long time, but I think for a lot of people roughly our age, a little older cowboy, they'll remember him starting to sing that song down in the hall, the movie Jaws. They just started singing that song.
They barely started.
And all of a sudden, trouble started.
Well, they were tapping on the table.
That's right.
Boom.
That's right.
What was that? When the sheriff got a little shaky.
Oh yeah.
Where's my gun? That's not going to do you any good there, kid.
Breaking ball away, 2-2.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Two and two to Jay Bruce with one out and one on. Reds leading 11-5, and there's a base hit in the right field for Jay Bruce. Jay with a 2-hit night. A lot of guys with big nights tonight, but primarily starting at number 2 and really ending right about there with Bruce. Although Stubbs has a chance to add a double and a sac fly RBI. Brandon Phillips, 3 hits, 3 runs scored, a home run, knocked in 1. Joey Votto, 1 hit but was on base 3 times, scored 3 runs, knocked in a run, stole a base. Scott Rowland, 2 hits and a walk. Jonny Gomes, a career high 6 RBIs, a pair of 3-run home runs. And now 2 hits for Bruce, and Stubbs tries to make it a 2-hit game. Final game of the series tomorrow. Sam LeCure will get his 4th major league start, a 1-2 record, a very fine 3.12 ERA. Against the reigning Cy Young Award winner of the Kansas City Royals, as they get the out at second base and Stubbs able to leg out the fielder's choice. Zach Greinke, a record of 1-8. An ERA of 4.05, Cowboy. What is going on with him?
4.05 is not terrible. No. 1-8. Not going to look real good at the end of the year. Well, it's probably not going to look good ever on the back of your baseball card. But in the American League, they don't allow you to hit. So there's not much you can do besides just go out there and pitch and hope your guys can get you some runs. Big key for Greinke is keeping the score down early. Let his guys relax a little bit. We've seen how that works around here. You give up 2 or 3 runs early in the ball game. Well, you may shut the other team out the rest of the way, but you've already put your guys from the offensive standpoint in panic mode. They just can't get it together to catch up.
Fouled out away by Ramon Hernandez.
It's one part about the Reds offense that I'm very encouraged about here lately. They're not only scoring runs late in the ball game and giving themselves an opportunity to come back when they need to. They're scoring runs early in the ball game, in the middle of the game, and at the end of the game. Quality at bats 1 through 9. And I know the pitcher hits in the 9 spot, but folks, you can check the stats. The Reds pitchers can swing the bat.
Oh yeah. Ramon did not like that call. It's 2-2. Miguel Cairo in the on deck circle, hoping for a chance with 2 on and 2 out. What a night it has been here at Great American Ballpark. Reds got 4 runs in the first inning, fell behind 5-4 in the second, got 4 in the third, and have never looked back. 3 more in the 4th inning. An 11-5 lead with 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Jonny Gomes, a 3-run home run in the first. Jonny Gomes, a 3-run home run in the third. A career-high 6 runs batted in tonight. And he has become the National League leader in runs batted in. Runner going on 3-2 and a ground ball to second. That'll end the inning. The Royals come to bat in the ninth with the Reds in front 11-5. That Cowboy, of course, Brandon Phillips does it every night. Every night.
There's not much more you can say when you're seeing the offense that the Reds are putting on the board. They're putting the bat to the baseball, and they're also putting the glove to the baseball. Throw the wood, throw the leather. And then the other teams will just throw their hats out on the field and say, all right, you got it.
Well, Nick Massett takes over on the mound. Logan Ondrusek allows 1 hit and a scoreless 8th inning.
This is a big inning for Nick Massett right here. I don't care what the score is. This is a big inning for Nick Massett from a confidence standpoint, strike standpoint, and getting 3 consecutive outs and get back to the dugout and put this game in the book.
Well, the Reds just need this guy so badly, Jeff, to get back where everybody knows he can be and should be. Hard hit ball, but right at Paul Janisch. 1 pitch and 1 out for Nick Massett.
After every Reds game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the players and coaches on Reds Live. Brought to you by King's Auto Mall and the King's Auto Mall. King's Honda and the King's Auto Mall. Visit kingshonda.usa.com.
Fastball is strike 1 to Mitch Mayer. Mayer, his only time up, had a single in the left field against Arthur Rhodes. And for those of you maybe just tuning in, Rhodes another scoreless inning tonight. 26 now consecutive scoreless innings for Arthur Rhodes, the longest stretch and streak by a reliever in Major League Baseball this season, although Jose Valverde's streak is still alive. The Detroit closer. Boy, I saw his numbers today. A 0.33 ERA as a closer for the Detroit Tigers.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. 24 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings for him going into play tonight. And
he got a bunch of saves.
Oh, yeah, a pile of them. The Tigers are tied with the Pirates 3-3. That game in the bottom of the 9th inning in the Motor City.
Now, Valverde, if I may be wrong here, but was he not closing at one point in time for the Diamondbacks?
Yes, he was. Straight money deal. They traded him to the Astros, yeah, in the Chad Qualls deal, and straight money deal. They didn't want to pay him.
In Houston?
In Arizona.
Evidently, they didn't want to pay him in Houston either.
And by the way, just for those of you that like the last time since, Reds hit by a pitch 4 times in the game tonight. The last time that happened, you got to go back to September the 5th, 1965 against Philadelphia. Ties a franchise record for most batters hit in a Reds game. Fly ball to left, and Massett has retired the first 2, and 1 more out to go to put this baby to bed.
And this will be a good feeling for Nick Massett here, because in this ballpark, when the end is near, the fans are on their feet.
Line drive center field. It'll fall in front of Drew Stubbs. A base hit for Billy Butler. He has a 3-hit night tonight. Chris Getz will come up and pinch hit now for the pitcher. With all the shifting around in the lineup of Ned Yost, as this one has moved along tonight. Oh, 2 on Getz now. Somebody help this young man right here to try to hit this split finger that's fixing to fall off the coffee table. 0-2 to Getz, and here it comes. Well, he hits it, but it's a weak pop up into left. It'll put this baby in the books. So after a very tough night last night, a tough one to lose in extra innings, the Reds bounce back tonight and win by a final count of 11-5. And you take a peek out in Arizona, where the Diamondbacks are leading the Cardinals 7-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Cowboy, maybe they get that game back that they lost in the standings last night.
Well, each and every day is a different kind of approach. You play your game, and then when your game is over, especially when your opponent is out on the West Coast, you get to go back and kind of see how they're doing. But the bottom line right now is you come to the ballpark every day, give yourself an opportunity to win, and you don't worry so much about that other club until it's time to worry about them, and that's when they're